Going on to the culture part of the podcast, you have Bud Light CEO claims customers are coming back yet again, but the sales, however, tell another story. Now, this is quite a few months actually after the whole Dylan Mulvaney fiasco, where their stock lost, what was it? Stock literally lost $28 billion in share value, as well as they've lost $400 million in sales. That was just for Q2. We're in Q3, or fiscal third quarter, and I can't help but think the news is not going to get better for this company. Now, it looks like he was speaking with... He claims... Oh, yeah, this is hilarious. They claim... this is from the CEO, quote, "In the U.S., the beer industry remained resilient, delivering revenue growth of 2.3% this quarter, and with beer gaining share of value of total alcohol in the first half of 2023, our revenues declined by 10.5%, and STR, sales to retailers, and volumes dropped 14% with their performance impacted by the decline of the Bud Light brand," unquote. So he's finally admitting that their sales are going down a little bit. They're going down by a lot. When you hear those numbers, that sounds like that's for the overall company, not specifically the Bud Light brand. Specifically, that brand has suffered the worst. Now, he also claims, and I don't know, he claims, quote, "We have actively engaged with over 17,000 consumers since April, and there are a few clear insights. First, most customer surveyed are favorable towards the Bud Light brand, and approximately 80% are favorable or neutral. The consumer will always be at the center of everything we do," unquote. Now, that's a big sample size, 17,000 consumers. That's a very good survey size. Are they all employees? Like, again, now this is my anecdotal experience, and as well as empirical evidence when I'm looking at articles and different surveys. None of this is reflected by the sales, and none of this is reflected on social media. But like, if anything, they're just getting more aggressive in their stance on censorship, in a brief, futile attempt to get some good coverage on the Twitter, and specifically, or X.com, or X, whatever you want to call it now. Now, it looks like he also continues to say, quote, "Second, regardless of favorability, our consumers across all segment groups have 3 points of feedback in common. 1, they want to enjoy a beer without debate. 2, they want Bud Light to focus on beer. 3, they want Bud Light to concentrate on the platforms that all consumers love, such as NFL, Fields of Honor, and music," unquote. Well, it is hilarious how out of touch they are that they need to do a survey to figure that out. I mean, I'm not a big drinker of beer in general, but just knowing business and common sense, I could have told you that without having to do a survey. And presumably, if they're running the company, they should have known this better than anything else. He continues to say, quote, "We are taking the feedback and working hard towards our consumers' business every day across the world. While our total beer industry share has declined by 520 BPS this quarter to 36.9%, it has been stable since the last week of April through the end of June." That has to be a typo, because that is ridiculous. Unless they're talking about even globally, and I appreciate everyone's feedback in the comments. I've been fascinated to hear some global consumers of beer actually let me know in the comments. There's actually boycotts in other countries as well, where originally I thought this would be mostly isolated to the United States. So it is fascinating to see it go kind of have a global effect. But I don't think anyone believes any of this. Because again, just last week we had some more sales data. Again, it's kind of an indirect sales model where Bud Light will sell it to a distributor will sell it to a restaurant or a grocery store, the grocery store will sell it to a person. So because of that indirect sales model, the sales data we get is inherently just delayed. But the latest data we have, that was for the week ending August 19th, and that noted that Bud Light off-prem locations, such as grocery stores and gas stations, those sales were down 15.9% on a dollar basis and 20.1% on a volume basis. Now, they go on to say overall, so you add up all the other venues in which they sell alcohol, they have a 27% decrease on a dollar basis. For Bud Light specifically, Budweiser was down 10%. So, again, the CEO, I almost think he's rubbing salt in the wound, so to say, because, again, he's not really addressing the issue, and it almost sounds like he's in denial, like, oh yeah, they're coming back to us. But that we have yet to see a sales week in their favor. It's remains steady, if not worse, revolving or remaining around 27 to 30% decrease in sales week over week. Let me know in the comments, are you seeing anything different in your anecdotal evidence around your community? When I went to the local grocery store this past weekend, I couldn't help but notice, or actually no, it was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday. But when I went there, I couldn't help but notice when I went to the grocery part, or the frozen food sections and the beer sections, there's only 2 parts that had dents in them in terms of people were taking products. One was the Coors, and the other was Yangling. There's like 2 cases of Yangling beer left. The Bud Light beer was damn near full. I think there might have been 1 case missing. And again, every time I go to the store, when I see people buy beer, it's never Bud Light. It's always a Coors Light, a Yangling, and then, yeah, this past week when I was at the grocery store, I saw 2 people take Coors Light 6-packs. And again, this is, small sample size, me just being in the store for a half hour. And then I saw 1 person with Yangling. Whereas before, I didn't pay as much attention to it, but I mean, Yangling is just growing exponentially. Their sales are up 20-30% week over week. They're one of the biggest winners from this scenario. So they get an A+ for marketing, while also just staying out of politics to begin with. But let me know in the comments, do you think the CEO is ever going to come out with a full apology, or do you think he'll ever admit defeat? Or is he just going to kind of keep pretending like everything is fine, which he keeps doing, and yet the sales and stock are not reflecting that. So I don't know how disillusioned he is, or if he just lives in a different reality. But needless to say, they will continue to be the business blunder of the century. I was going to say their business blunder of the day, but they deserve their own trophy. Let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe we should mail that to them. That'd be a novel idea. Thank you again for taking the time to tune in. Try and get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of September. I know it's a tall order, but if you click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you take the time to like and comment, the feedback is also appreciated. Try to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.